I've assured you many times that Floyd Mayweather would box again, including moments after Floyd Mayweather announced to the world that he would never box again. The only thing more embellished than Floyd Mayweather's pay-per-view numbers is Floyd Mayweather's net worth. So he's going to go box again. When I look at the Pacquiao fight, I will tell you I was a little bit surprised. In fact, Floyd came out on social media. He was partying somewhere or playing around, and Manny was there. I'm assuming they were at the Canelo Triple G, some kind of pre-fight event for that. And he had a little video, and he said, oh, and by the way, I'm hanging out with Manny Pacquiao, and I should mention I'm going to be fighting him again later this year. So I took the whole thing as a joke. I didn't think it was serious at all. That was just my interpretation. Hey, we're hanging out. Oh, and we're fighting. Ha, ha, ha. Well, apparently I interpreted it wrong. I guess they are trying to get that fight together for December. And, there's a couple things about that. I should start with one thing I really like about Floyd's career and when Floyd does a fight is when Floyd announces a fight, he gets in the ring. There is no big, long, wait 5 months, go film this television show, whatever it could be that gets in the way of some promotion sometime. Or I should say, rather, the promotion that can get in the way of us seeing a fight immediately sometimes. Floyd doesn't do that. I can remember some fights he announced, and they were 5 weeks later, they were in the ring. I think when he fought Pacquiao the first time, which was set to be the biggest boxing event of all time, it was like 6.5 weeks from the day they announced it to the day they got in there and did it, which I like. As a fan, that's fun. So Floyd is in line with his previous history of announcing fights and getting right in there and doing it. The part that made me a little bit bearish on whether or not this was a reality was I don't know why they're fighting. You always got to have that why for those mega fights. And the way Floyd is set up, where he will make a big demand up front, as well as getting back into money on the pay-per-view, you would need somebody to put that money up that says, yeah, this is a good bet. That's not a good bet. That is not a good bet if you're talking about 10 figures for Floyd as a guarantee. I don't think. Maybe I've got my pulse off on this one. But that fight was people wanted to see that for 5 years. There was major buildup. These guys were avoiding or kept away or circumstance or happenstance or politics kept those guys apart. And they were both winning fights nonstop, just not against each other. And there was just a big want and a need and a storyline for that. When that fight ended, like most boxing fights, you leave extremely disappointed. There just wasn't a whole lot to see. It was not a back and forth battle. Manny never put up a great offense. Manny didn't put up a great defense. Floyd didn't mount a great offense. He did put up a great defense. And an hour later of our life and $50 separated with our money, we all leave. There just wasn't a lot to see there. In this particular fight, apparently Manny's got a championship. Somebody just alerted me of that. I know Manny just got beat a couple of fights ago against Horn and came back and won, but I couldn't deny that he has a championship. That, one of the problems with boxing, everybody's got a belt. Some people got 17 belts. There's just nothing in boxing to stop a promoter at the end of the night from saying this is for a world championship. So apparently Manny has a belt. I can't guarantee that. I can't say it's not true, but I did see somewhere that they were fighting for Manny's belt. WBA, WBO, WBC, blah, 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 any 3 letters you could put together, belt. That apparently Manny has. Okay, fine. Championships are good reasons to fight, but I'm a boxing fan. I'm a Pacquiao fan. I was unaware that he was currently holding a belt. So I don't know that you're going to get a ton of legs with that. You certainly take away any of the personal aspect by Floyd making a video of them hanging out together and being friendly while announcing the fight. You take away the anticipation that the public could have, regardless of titles or grudges or personal vendetta. You take that away when the public has never asked to see this fight a second time. So I'm not sure how they could get a contract done if Floyd came in with the demands that Floyd has made in the past and of being a guy that is 50-0 but has relinquished all of his championships and taken himself out of boxing. Sometimes there is a good-sized demand just for the return of something that you were told you would never see again. I think that's true with Floyd. I think he has something there. I will watch this fight. My message isn't to just burn this fight down. My message is to try to guess and predict before we see contracts and an official announcement, if we are going to see contracts and an official announcement. Pacquiao would definitely like that fight. He can't get anything like that anywhere else. But it struck me as a little bit odd for Floyd. And even though Floyd would be walking into a situation that he has already done once before and did not have a very hard time doing it, you still have that third piece, which is the promoter. Who's going to come out of pocket and make a bet on that? Is boxing big enough? Is boxing saturated? I've never seen more boxing in my whole life than I have recently. Everybody's picking it up. Between HBO, between pay-per-view, between Showtime, between DAZN, between Fox, between ESPN. Boxing's all over the place. I assume that's a good sign. I assume that's for good reason. We did experience in mixed martial arts, when we began to become all over the place, the numbers went down a little bit. Some people called it saturation. I don't know if they're analyzing those numbers correctly, but we've seen this. So is that the mega fight? Is that the fight that people want to see? Is there a reason Pacquiao and Mayweather are fighting? I think it's enough to get anybody's attention that even casually cares about boxing. But to meet some of the demands that Floyd Mayweather brings to the table, that could be a tough one. And Pacquiao agrees with me. Pacquiao even came out and said, Floyd said, we're fighting. And Pacquiao said, well, I do plan to fight in December of this year, but Amir Khan and Adrian Broner are also possible opponents in case things blow up with Floyd. And that's always just an interesting spot. If I was to predict and you had both Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather come to the table and say, yeah, we want to do it, I would suspect somebody would come out and put up the money. I don't know that it would be a seasoned boxing guy. I don't know that a seasoned promoter could look at that and get behind it with this little of time and lacking a storyline, lacking a why. Why are we here? We know we're not here to have fun. Boxing has proved that to us for centuries, that it is not fun to watch. We know we are not going to have a full night of events. Boxing has proved to us that they will not give us a meaningful co-main event or even a meaningful main card. It's going to be top heavy. It's going to be at Las Vegas. It's going to be a destination which people are going to have to get plane tickets, set hotels, set money aside, pay a premium on a ticket. So why? Why are those two fighting again? That's the part that is missing. But I think the other elements are there. I think a comeback fight does mean something. I think you could break that fight down too and come up with a completely different outcome. I mean, from Floyd sitting out and not staying active, and Pacquiao, regardless of ups or downs that he has had since their previous fight 3 years ago, he has been active. You don't get better at something by not doing it. You know, there was some major things that had changed Pacquiao for that fight. There was agreements in the contract by Floyd having to do with USADA and some outside testing that greatly affected Pacquiao. You could take one look at Pacquiao and see that he adhered to the new rules that they agreed upon. With a fight in this short of notice, not a whole lot of time to do any of that testing. Fight on this short of notice, does that matter? Does that change things? Yeah, it does. It's relevant. It's relevant. Canelo just went through it. Got around it. It's relevant. Is it relevant enough to change the outcome? I don't know. Does it change in the outcome warrant enough for you to tune in and watch? Yeah, I think that's a good selling point. I do. Floyd Mayweather at 50-0, never lost before, putting the title on the line. I think there's something there. I can tell you that fight went down before Conor and Floyd came in and took their spot. It went down as the biggest boxing fight of all time with 4.4 million pay-per-view buys. I can tell you it did nowhere close to 4.4 million pay-per-view buys. That is a straight-up fabricated lie that was never supported by any executive of any pay-per-view carrier. That was put out in a press release and gobbled up by the media. That is how you become the biggest pay-per-view grossing boxing fight of all time. There is no other parameter. You just put out the press release that never gets vetted or checked, that never gets co-signed by anybody at Time Warner, anybody at Comcast, or anybody at DirecTV. You just write the number down and put it out. But the fight did do very well. Would a second fight, when you look at the history of rematches and what it takes to make a rematch, some type of a demand, some type of a controversy, some type of a title on a line, some type of personal fact. Nation versus nation, culture versus culture. There's a number of things that have been part of the recipes to demand rematches, and this one lacks them all. So unless we can hang our hats, unless we can all get together and hang our hat on the argument that Manny Pacquiao is better now than he was 3 years ago, and Floyd is not, and this may be the first time that Floyd Mayweather loses, there's not much of a reason to look forward to that fight. As far as boxing fights go, and as far as potential matchups that have even been hinted or teased at us, aside from Canelo and Triple G Part 3, I would admit that's the fight. Sure. I think you have something special anytime you have Floyd in there. I'm just trying to make sense of, can you get Floyd in there? That's what I'm trying to base my prediction and this commentary on right now. Do I think that that fight would even happen? We'll have to see. But somebody's going to have to back it. Because as much as Floyd will come out there and tell you he's a businessman, he does not have an office. And as much as Floyd likes to tell you he's a promoter, he has never put up his money. Much like how you become the biggest pay-per-view boxing buy of all time is done in a press release, Floyd Mayweather, the businessman, is nothing more than a press release. So he will come out and ask somebody to sign the front of a paycheck so that he can sign the back of it.